So, I've never really been much of a baby person. People would hand me their newborn and be like, wanna hold him? I'd be like, no, that's okay. Sorry, Nelly, I still love you. I'd see new parents out in public and be like, man, glad that's not me. But my reason for feeling hesitant wasn't because I disliked kids. It was just because I wanted to protect the life that I had. I'm an introvert who needs a lot of alone time. I'm a minimalist. I enjoy having peace and quiet. And I like for my money to stay in my bank account. I was scared that if I had a baby, I would feel trapped in a life that I didn't want. But even though I wasn't interested in having a baby, my wife Maddie really was. It was her life's dream. We'd get into these arguments about it that left us both feeling hopeless. So eventually, I started realizing if we never had one, she was guaranteed to be sad about it for the rest of her life. So I slowly started opening up to the idea of it. But when I would talk to people about my hesitations, they'd say things like, it's a lot of work, but it's worth it. And I'd think, well, I'm glad it's worth it for you, but you probably wanted a baby to begin with. What if I have a baby, but it's not worth it to me? If I hated being a father, I'd be stuck with a life I regretted. And once you squeeze the toothpaste out, you can't put it back in the tube. So working through all that definitely was a process, but I did eventually get to the point where I was willing to half try. And here's what I mean by half try. Maddie has this app that tracks her period and gives her a week-long window where it'd even be possible for her to get pregnant. And it also pinpoints the one day where she's most likely to get pregnant. So we definitely didn't sleep together on that night. But we did a lot earlier in that week-long window, which was pretty much a shot in the dark. And even doing that was super nerve-wracking and stressful. I was like, oh man, this one moment could dramatically change the rest of my life forever. So we did that just 2 times, then bam, she wakes up one day and says, I think I'm pregnant. I remember going to Walmart and standing in the pregnancy test aisle alone, just looking at all the options, trying to figure out which one to get. I got the cheapest one, of course, and when she peed on it, nothing happened. Whew. Close call. So we put that test aside and went to bed that night, but when we woke up in the morning, we noticed 2 little lines popped up. The second line was so faint we weren't even sure if it was legit. Back to Walmart, so she tried a second test, and yep, she was pregnant. That was definitely a scary moment for me. Like, oh wow, this is really happening. I had expected to feel that level of dread with all the impending diapers and crying that were on their way. But I was genuinely surprised by how excited I felt at the same time. In that moment, I felt really close to Maddie, so I just wrapped my arms around her and held her for a while. There was something really special knowing that we had a little guy on the way who'd be half her and half me. So the chaos I was dreading started pretty much right away. One moment Maddie would be lying there completely fine, and the next she'd be sprinting to the bathroom covering her mouth, trying not to blow chunks before she got to the toilet. And she didn't always make it. One time she spewed all over the wall and whatever else was around. When that happened, I was like, yep, this is exactly the kind of thing I was dreading. So I approached her and I was like, hey, we need to have a plan so this doesn't just keep happening. So we bought some barf bags and that turned out to be a really good investment. I also had to bring her all kinds of food day and night. She'd be like, I'm craving filet mignon right now and I'm pregnant, so we have to buy it. The bills quickly started racking up. I had to make her this smoothie every morning with these expensive prenatal vitamins. She had to go to doctor's appointments every so often. We had to get this room ready for the baby behind me. Hello, I'm Mr. Bear. We hired a doula. I didn't even know what a doula was at that point. And we even had to go to the ER one time because she had a fever and her belly was hurting. When I saw that bill, I was like, yep. This is exactly what I was dreading. Thankfully, we did have a baby shower, which helped offset some of those costs. I remember one time we were at my stepson Hudson's school talking to some of the other parents, and they just turned to me with this huge smile on their face and asked, "Are you excited?" But in that moment, I was feeling way more dread than excitement, and I didn't want to lie, so I just kind of shrugged and rolled my eyes a little bit. That didn't go over too well. I had to spend some time journaling just so I could figure out how I was feeling and how to verbalize it in a way that didn't make everyone horrified. And here's what I came up with. I'm not looking forward to the crying, dirty diapers, or lack of alone time, but I am excited to experience the birth with my wife, and I'm looking forward to having a son once he gets older. And for pretty much the whole last month of Maddie's pregnancy, she was having this thing called prodromal labor. People at work would ask me for updates, and for a whole month I would say, she's having contractions, I think, but it's not labor yet. I don't know. Then Aiden was born. And the first word I used to describe the birth is crazy. There was blood, there was vomit, there was screaming, there was even feces. I'm not gonna say who it came out of, but it was there. I'm pretty sure all the nurses down the entire hall could hear the screaming because they were all congratulating us once Maddie was being wheeled out. But the second word I used to describe the birth is special. It was truly one of the most special moments of my life. I was getting choked up and teary-eyed throughout the entire process, and it was so special to finally hold him in my arms and think, this is my son. When he first came out, I thought he did look like an old man. Hudson asked me how cute he was, so I thought about it for a minute and then gave him a solid 6 out of 10. Then his hair fell out, which didn't help with the old man vibes, but even with that going against him, he's a lot cuter to me now. They say that there are different kinds of loves, and once I became a parent, I can agree this really does feel like a different category of love. I was perfectly fine without a baby, but once he came, it felt like my heart expanded and opened up this new compartment just for him. And I was actually wanting a girl since I already had a stepson, but once Aiden came, I was happy to have a boy. And he doesn't even have to do anything. I love him and feel proud of him just for being my son. And when he was born, I got 2 weeks of paternity leave, which felt both refreshing and exhausting. It felt refreshing because it was like a mini vacation where I got to just spend time with my family. But it felt exhausting because of how little alone time I got. Every single second it felt like I was taking care of Maddie or the baby or Hudson. There would be lots of times when I was right in the middle of doing something for someone, and then Maddie would ask me to do like 3 more things. But thankfully, there were a lot of people willing to help us. Our friends started a meal train where they brought us these home-cooked meals every night. And when I went back to work, my mom flew in for 2 weeks to help take care of Maddie and the baby. Maddie's mom, Care Bear, also helped a ton. She's a legend. Can we spam the comments with Care Bear is a legend? Sometimes Aiden cries for no reason, which can feel really frustrating. It's like, I'm making all these sacrifices to help you, but you're not even thankful. As soon as he can talk, I'm going to start teaching him about being grateful. And I was anticipating a lot of diapers, but in reality, there are way more than I was even expecting. Like you and I probably go poop once a day at most. Not babies. They're pooping all day long. I was actually the one who changed his first dirty diaper, and I was holding up his legs like this, and mid-wipe, poop starts actively coming out. Have you ever squeezed a gusher? It was like that, except it was this black, sticky, gooey stuff coming out faster than I could wipe it up. And at one point, his heel slipped out of my grip and dropped straight into the goo, and that's when I knew it was all over. It was just getting everywhere at that point. And then the second time I was changing his diaper, he decides to start peeing, just straight up in the air like a fountain. And then once I finally got that contained, he throws up. That was definitely the kind of thing I was dreading. So that initiation was crazy, but thankfully I upped my game, and now changing diapers isn't so bad. I was expecting to be super grossed out by it, but I actually got used to it pretty quickly. One of the things other parents would tell me is it's different when it's your own kid, and I was skeptical of that, but I think it's true. It's just not as gross when it's your own baby. It's kind of like he's just an extension of myself. It's just a little weird that his poops are neon green. But once Maddie recovered and was able to help with a lot of the diapers, that was a huge relief. Sleep can be rough because he wakes up a few times a night, And we often have to hold him this certain way and bounce on a bouncy ball for like an hour just to get him to go to sleep. And he does this weird grunting thing when he's trying to fall asleep, like but thankfully he usually only wakes up once at 3 a.m. and then again at 6 a.m., which isn't so bad. Not ideal, but you get used to it. And there are definitely a lot of things I miss about my old life. I miss having more time to be able to spend alone or work on personal projects. Every time I pick up a project now, it feels like I only get to work on it for 3 minutes.
Can you change his diaper?
Every time I pick up a project now, it feels like I only get to work on it for 3 minutes before.
Can you give him a bath?
Every time I pick up a project now, it feels like I only get to work on it for 3 minutes before someone needs me again. And I miss playing video games. I was actually in the middle of playing the original marathon game, but ever since Aiden was born, I haven't been able to pick it back up. I'll finish it one day, maybe like 18 years from now. But I look forward to the day when Aiden's old enough to play video games with me. That will be fun. Here's a Pokemon video I made that touches on reliving old video games with your kids. But life with a baby actually brings a lot more enjoyable moments than I was anticipating. Like normally after a long day at work, I usually just want to be alone. But I actually miss him and want to hold him and be with him. And when I'm holding him and he smiles at me, I just start tearing up. And the first time I took him on a walk outside, he had his little head tilted back, just staring up at the sky and the trees, enjoying the sunshine, discovering the beauty of nature for the very first time. And in that moment, I got choked up because I've always loved going on walks and being out in nature. And now I had this tiny little buddy who I could enjoy it with. It felt like we were two friends just hanging out, enjoying something we both loved. And I can't wait to have more moments with him like that. And Aiden, you're doing every single one of those things I was dreading. You poop 12 times a day, you cry a lot, and I've hardly had any free time since you've been born. But somehow you found a way to make all those things feel a lot smaller than I was expecting. And I really didn't see that coming. I didn't know how emotional I would get just watching you discover the world. I didn't know what it would feel like when you would smile at me for the first time. And I had no idea how proud I would feel about a tiny little guy who can't even do anything yet. You've already surprised me so much, and I can't wait to see all the other ways you surprised me over the years. Before you came along, I wasn't really looking for my life to change, but I'm glad it did. I love you, buddy, and I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for watching. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments, or you can check out another one of my videos right here.